एकदानन्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नम ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. So welcome to the Nectar of Instructions Sri Updeshamrita seminar. This is more like a Bhakti Shastri course where we study among the four books, the Updesh Amrit, also the Nectar of Instruction. So we will be studying quite in depth the Nectar of Instruction. And along with that, we have our morning discussion on the Bhakti Aloka, which is more in-depth study of the second and the third verses of Nectar of Instruction, that is Atyahara Prayasasya. In the future, we will be studying still more in-depth the Nectar of Instruction by studying the previous Acharya's commentaries, that is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's commentary is called as the Anuvritti Tika. And then there is a Bhakti Thakur Fika, which is called as the Piyush Varshini Vritti. Piyush means the nectar, Varshini means the shower, Vritti means the Tika. And there is also one of the foremost first acharyas to comment on the Updeshamrit was Sri Radha Raman Das Goswami. And he wrote a very short commentary which is called as Upadesha Prakashika. Prakashika means illumination. So that's the goal. But first, we need to study in depth the Bhaktivedanta purports to his commentary on the Updeshamrita, the Nectar of Instruction. So we will be studying it in quite detail. So I welcome all the devotees who have joined this discussion, and there is one who has to change his name. He's joined on the mobile. So I don't know who is it. So can you change your name, please, so that we know, we cannot address you as Vivo. Who is this? I'm asking to mute or I've unmuted you. Who is it? I think so. It is. Yeah, I got a message. Fine, fine. Okay. So basically, again, I would like to, you know, we should know the guidelines for this online discussion. The class will be interactive. You can keep your video on, but mute your audio. I have muted you all so that there's no distraction. Sit in a place where, you can sit in your classroom as good as, free from distraction. Again, I'll be discussing few points or few slides and then I'll pause for questions. Use the raise hand button. Ask questions. Don't type your questions in the chat box. Kindly don't write any comments or questions on the chat box. Hare Krishna to all. My Dandavats pranams. Please don't do all that. Just focus on hearing. Only use it if the audio is not clear. You know? So only in that case use the chat box. Otherwise, don't use the chat box. So I'll be showing the PPTs from the not the Bhakti-aloka, but it is the Updesh Amrit on the Zoom screen. In fact, this time I'm presenting the entire text in the PPT. Usually is to go back and forth from the Veda base and then show the concepts in the slides. But this time I thought we will do the whole book in the uh, in the slides itself so that we can participate in the discussion. You can keep your Updeshamrit book, textbook with you in order to note, mark with your pencil, whatever it is. It is best that you can be on a laptop for the discussion for focus study. Kindly don't use a mobile as far as possible. Only in the case of emergency, then you can use a mobile. Sit in one place, mobile camera moving around here and all. Here and there is a distraction. Calls keep on coming in. So messages keep on coming in. So that's not so good. So kindly avoid the mobile as far as possible. And I will share the PPTs to the participants. If you later on have any questions, kindly send a WhatsApp recording to my mobile number. And then I will record the answer and send the question as well as answer in the group. Okay. Okay. So let's now first go into the history of Updesha Amrit. The history of Updesha Amrit is very, very, you know, it's very confidential and deep. Shri Updeshamrit is highly revered in the Sri Gaudiya Vaishnava spiritual community, Sampradaya, resplendent with the inner sentiment and the outer complexion of Sri Mati Radhika. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the inaugurator of the congregational chanting of Sri Krishna's holy name, Sri Nama Sankirtan, and the bestower of that most elevated, radiant, divine love of for Sri Krishna that has never been given before. So practically, this is uh, the verse Anarpitam Charit Karunaya Anarpitam Charim Chirat Karunaya Avatirna Kalo Samarpayutam Unnat Ujjwala Rasam Swabhaktim Shriyam Hari Purata Sundara Duti Kadam Vasandipita Sada Hridaya Kandara Spuritava Shri Sachinandana. It's this whole verse is encapsulated in this paragraph here. He's come with the inner sentiment and the outer complexion of Srimati Radhika. Duti Kadamba Sandipita Sada Hridaya Kandar Spuritavashish. And he has come to give that Unnata Ujjwala Ras. So this Unnata Ujjwala Ras refers to Vraj Bhakti. Vraj Bhakti or Uttama Bhakti. Anyabhilashita Shunyam Jnana karmadyanavritam anukulena krishnanu shilanam bhaktir uttama. Bhakti was practiced from the bygone ages, right since the dawn of creation. Bhakti has been practiced by Prahlad Maharaj, Bhakti has been practiced by Ambarish, Bhishma. They're all exalted Mahajans, great pure devotees of the Lord. But the bhakti which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to give is not the bhakti in the Vaikuntha mood, but the bhakti in the Brajbasi's mood. Vraj Bhakti, Shuddha Bhakti, or Ananya Bhakti. And this is the one meaning of Unnat Ujjvala Rasam. But also Unnat Ujjvala Rasa refers to the highest Vraj Ras, that is Madhurya Ras. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself came in the Bhava and the Kanti. Bhava of Srimati Radharani and the Kanti, the complexion of Srimati Radharani, which is golden, and relished that mellow in relationship with Krishna, the Madhuri Ras. So this is what Mahaprabhu has come to himself relish, and he has come to give it to us through the very simple method of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So that is the point being made here. For the benefit of all living beings, Srila Rupa Goswami churned the ocean of Sriman Mahaprabhu's instructions and extracted the essence in the form of Sri Upadesh Amrita. So Mahaprabhu left behind, Prabhupada will bring out that in the preface, which we'll soon go through. He left behind 8 instructions, which is called as the Shikshashtakam or Shikshashtaka. And Rupa Goswami, who is our Abhidaya Acharya, how to practice bhakti. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited that mood of intense separation from Krishna in the mood of the gopis and the topmost gopi, Srimati Radhika. And he exhibited that in his pastimes, especially in the Antalila, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the Antalila, 20 chapters discuss that. Especially the last portion of his life, 18 years, he spent an intense separation from Sri Krishna. And this mood, Mahaprabhu did not teach it, but how to practice and how to come to that point. What is the methodology or what is the paddhati? The paddhati means the step-by-step process, a systematic process that was given by Srila Rupa Goswami in just 11 essential verses, which are as deep and as an ocean. And as we study Updeshamrit, we will discover that. So we are dedicating the next few months to study Updeshamrit, Srila Prabhupada's commentary. Then we are studying Bhakti Aloka, which is 12 essays on the 6 favorable items for practice of pure devotional service, that is Utsaha, Nishchay, Dhairya, and 6 unfavorable, which destroy devotion, that is Atyahara, Prayasisha. And then later on, we will be studying Updeshamrit with the 3 Acharyas' commentaries. Why we are doing this? Because it is the essence extracted from the ocean of Mahaprabhu's instructions. And just by practicing and applying the principles given in these 11 verses, one can, from the beginning stages of spiritual life, attain the highest exalted stage, unimaginable, unfathomable for even great pure devotees like even 4 Kumaras and Narada, because they are all in Dasa mood, Dasya Bhav. But that is Vaikuntha Bhav. But the Vraj Bhakti, as I'm mentioning, the Vraj mood, Raga Marga Bhakti, Karite Pracharana, that, we can attain that. So how important it is for us to study Upadeshamrit. And Rupa Goswami has given the Paddhati in these 11 verses in Sri Upadeshamrit. There is another book written by one of the Goswamis, again consisting of 11 verses. Anyone knows which is that book? Raise your hand. Anyone knows? Please raise your hand. There's another book which is consisting of 11 verses. Anyone knows? Please raise your hands. No. It is Manashiksha given by Raghunath Das Goswami. Manashiksha is again consisting of 11 verses. How one should attain perfection by practicing sadhana bhakti, go deeper into raga bhakti, become free from the anarthas, and attain Vraj Bhakti and attain the Prayojan, because Raghunath Das Goswami is our Prayojan Acharya. Again, Raghunath Das Goswami there also speaks about in the Manashiksha, the 11 verses, essential verses. He speaks about the Paddhati there, how one can attain Rag Bhakti and attain ultimately the Prayojan. But Abhidheya is Rup Goswami, and how to practice Abhidheya. When we practice Abhidheya perfectly, then we have to study Manashiksha in order to attain Prayojan. The instruction given in this book are indispensable for practitioners, sadhakas of the devotional path bhakti. They are indispensable instructions. You cannot avoid them. You will have to practice them in order to attain bhakti. These are instructions for sadhakas. Without following these instructions, entering the realm of pure devotion and especially following the intricate and elevated path of spontaneous devotion, Ragana Bhakti, is not only difficult but impossible. So, without following these instructions, we cannot enter into the realm of pure devotion first. Sadhana Bhakti, Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, and then what to speak of Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti, and then attain perfection. If you don't follow these instructions, Upadesha means instructions, and these instructions are in the form of Amrit, Upadesha Amrit. So without following Upadesha Amrit, it is not only difficult to attain the goal, but it is impossible. We learn from the diary of Govindas, the personal servant of the Prem Avatar incarnation of divine love, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that prior to returning to his eternal unmanifest pastimes, Aprakat Leela, Mahaprabhu remained constantly overwhelmed in a highly inflamed Suddipta mood of divine separation, Vipralamba. This is what I was mentioning. So this Suddipta is, very deep fire which is burning, the fire of separation. So Mahaprabhu remained in this mood of separation, which is called as Vipralamba. At that time, Mahaprabhu's two intimate eternal servitors, Sri Sarup Damodar and Sri Rai Ramanand, would try to pacify him by singing verses that were relevant to his mood. So, Ramanand Rai and Sarup Damodar, who are both Lalita and Vishaka, just like Srimati Radharani, was feeling deep pangs of separation when Krishna left from Vrindavan to Mathura. And in her mood of separation, it is Lalita and Vishaka who were, giving deep solace to Srimati Radharani. Similarly, Mahaprabhu, you know, exhibited that mood of Srimati Radharani towards Krishna, and he was feeling that same separation. And here, Sarup Damodar and Ramanand Rai, who are none other than Lalita and Vishaka Saki, were assisting him. And they were singing specific songs to, relevant to his mood. On one occasion, Mahaprabhu was sitting with his devotees on the shore of an ocean, engaged in hearing narrations concerning Krishna Katha. Seeing the dense grove of trees lining the shore of the blue ocean and the tall sand dunes, remembrance of Govardhan Hill and the Yamuna River, with the many beautiful gardens and groves, kunjas, situated on our banks, suddenly sprang up inside him. So Mahaprabhu was near Jagannath Puri beach, and he was engaged with his devotees hearing some Krishna Katha, and suddenly, seeing this, just a second. Yeah. So, so Mahaprabhu was sitting and hearing that. This is on the bank of the ocean in Puri. Suddenly, the sand dune and the trees along the beach invoked his remembrance of Vrindavan and Yamuna. Then he began bitterly weeping in separation from Krishna. When, after some time, his excitement subsided and he became peaceful, he gave the assembled devotees some instructions in a soft and a sweet voice. Those instructions comprise the verses of Sri Upadeshamrit. So it is important to know that Upadeshamrit are the original verses spoken by Mahaprabhu when he was exhibiting these deep separation from Vrindavan and Yamuna, and he went into a ecstasy in the internal mood, and then when he came out, then suddenly he calmed down, and then in a soft, sweet voice he spoke, and these are what comprise the instructions as Updeshamrit. Just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught Rup Goswami Rup Shiksha in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela chapter 19, it comes. And he gave the entire instructions on Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. And later on, this synopsis he expanded in the form of Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. To Sanatan Goswami, he gave the Sanatan Shiksha, which Sanatan Goswami later on also expanded in various of his works. So similarly, originally Rupa Goswami, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spoke these verses, and Rupa Goswami compiled them in the form of Sri Upadeshamrit. From the very beginning, it is compulsory for sadhakas desiring to enter the realm of bhakti to renounce activities that are unfavorable for progress in spiritual life. These include the urges of mind, speech, anger, tongue, stomach, and genitals, as well as avoiding overeating, unnecessary endeavors, useless conversation, improper compliance with the rules and regulations of devotion, bad association, and either greed or the restlessness of the mind to adopt worthless opinions. So now there is an overview given of Updeshamrit. So this is Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, and then Atyahara Prayasasya. Simultaneously, it is imperative to adopt those things that nourish one's bhakti, such as enthusiasm, determination, patience, the good behavior associated with bhakti, and the ideals of devotional life that have been established by pure devotees. This is Utsaha Nishchay Dhairya Tat Tat Karma Pravartanat Sangatyaga Sato Vritir Shadbir Bhaktir Prasidati. So this is text 3. After progressing somewhat, one should engage in the sixth kind of devotee association. What is this speaking about? Anyone knows? Raise your hands. How many of you have studied Updeshamrit? Please raise your hand first. Let me see. How many of you have studied Updeshamrit? One, two, three, four. Uh, Let me get a clear idea. And I want to know who is this Vivo V211. Please type your name on that. It becomes Prashant Shanbag has not studied Updeshamrit. Lalita Mataji also no. Subha Ikshana Krishna Prabhu and Vivek. Yeah, please now as we are studying Updeshamrit, before you come to the class, at least read Prabhupada's text. Okay, you can lower your hands. So anyone knows after progressing somewhat, uh, one should engage in the sixth kind of devotee association. What is it? Anyone? Sri Lalita Mataji, yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, is that, I mean, that giving charity to the devotees, accepting from the devotees in
Yeah,
charity, opening one mind to.
Uyam Akyachit Prichati, Bhunte Bhojate Chaiva, Shadvidir Prite Lakshanam. Give appropriate respect to the three kinds of Vaishnavas and serve them accordingly. So, which is this text? Which is this text or verse? Yes, Shubha Ikshana Krishna Prabhuji.
Prabhu, text 5.
Text 5, Krishneti, yes, yes. Finally, while residing either physically or mentally in Vraja and following the footsteps of devotees who possess deep love for Krishna and who are adept at relishing the devotional mellows of Vrajaras, one should constantly engage his tongue and mind in chanting and remembering Krishna's names, Nama, form, Rupa, qualities, Guna, and Leela. So this refers to also text 7, and then constantly remembering is text 8. Just as Srimati Radhika is most dear to Krishna, similarly her pond, Kunda, is also most dear to him. Therefore, practitioners of bhakti must certainly take shelter of the embodiment of the ultimate devotional ecstasy, Mahabhav, Srimati Radhika, and her pond, Sri Radha Kund. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu completely persevered this topmost essence of all instructions within the verses of Sri Upadesha Amrit. So this is in once, these 2 points are paragraph text 9, 10, and 11. So just an overview of Upadesha Amrit is also mentioned. But this gives the history of Upadesha Amrit. That Upadesha Amrit basically was spoken in ecstasy and Mahabhav by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in a sweet voice. And it is later on that from Govinda's diary, Mahaprabhu, Srila Rupa Goswami extracted them in the form of text Sri Upadesha Amrita. So that's about the history. Now, before we go into the Nectar of Instruction preface, I would like to know if you have any questions. Any questions, any clarifications? Jitendra Khatri Prabhuji, yes. Yes, Prabhuji, I have unmuted it. You can.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I would like to know that in the beginning you said.
Loudly, please.
Hare Krishna, my voice is, I'm audible.
Yeah, now it is better, yes.
Okay, so actually I was unable to note it down that two things we said in the beginning. One was the Bhakti Vinod Thakur, he wrote Piyush
Piyush Varshini Vritti.
Varshini Vritti.
Piyush Varshini Vritti, that is the commentary of Bhaktivinoda Thakur.
Okay.
And Bhakti Siddhanta Sarari Thakur, in one sense, wrote, you can say, in one sense, a sub-commentary, which is called as Anuvritti. He studied the Piyush Varshini Vritti and wrote her sub-commentary called as the Anuvritti. But the first commentator on Upadeshamrit was Sri Radha Raman Das Goswami. He was
Radha Raman Das.
coming in the Guru Shish Parampara.
He wrote which commentary, Prabhuji?
His commentary is called as the Upadesh Prakashika. After this Upadeshamrit, we finish discussion. Then our next course will be the advanced course where we'll be studying all these commentaries.
Okay.
Okay, that's a very brief commentary, but Bhaktivinoda Thakur, studying the commentary, he was very inspired, and then he wrote a very exhaustive commentary, which is called as the Piyush Varshini Vritti. And then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur wrote Anuvritti, and Prabhupada, in one sense, wrote his own personal commentary and giving the essence of all the acharyas, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and Bhaktivinoda Thakur. In most of his commentary, he refers to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and especially text 9, 10, and 11, he refers to Bhaktivinoda Thakur also. So we'll see that when we study the Acharya's commentary, we'll see how Prabhupada has included the essence of the Acharya's commentary in his own commentary. But it is very important that devotees should study uh, at least every year once the Updeshamrit over a period of 5 to 10 years, and then slowly, start studying the Acharya's commentary by the blessings of their Shiksha or Diksha Gurus. But at least for 5 to 10 years, one should study every year once the Updeshamrit. It's a very, very deep book, as deep as an ocean. We know now after we saw the history of Updeshamrit. Okay.
Okay,
So
thank
any
you.
questions anyone has? Okay, so now we will just begin with the preface of Sri Updeshamrit by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Now, before we begin the preface, as I mentioned, the Updeshamrit is a textbook which we study which we study as part of our Bhakti Shastri. It's one of the 4 books in our Bhakti Shastri course. It is very interesting that among the 4 books in the Bhakti Shastri course, 2 books are works of Rupa Goswami. That is Updeshamrit and the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, the Nectar of Devotion. Of course, we study only the first 19 chapters, which comprise the Eastern Division. But after we finish the Bhakti Shastri, one should read the other divisions also, that is the Southern and the Western and the Northern Division. So let us see the progression of these 4 books in the Bhakti Shastri, what we study, because Nectar of Instruction and Nectar of Devotion come in there, and how important it is to study the Nectar of Instruction, that comes up in the discussion. The Nectar of Instruction is one of the most important books in the 4 books we study as foundation for understanding the basic philosophy of Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada mentioned that if one studies these 4 books of his, then one can, grasp the entire philosophy of Krishna consciousness. That's what Prabhupada said. Of course, these 4 books are like foundation pillars, and one should regularly read the Bhagavad Gita, the Bhagavatam, and the Chaitanya Charitamrita. The 4 books are Sri Ishopanishads, Bhagavad Gita, the Nectar of Instruction, Upadeshamrit, and the Nectar of Devotion, Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. The 2 books, the Nectar of Instruction, Upadeshamrit, the Nectar of Devotion, Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, are composed by Sri Rupa Goswami. I mentioned that. There is a systematic progression in the 4 books that we study. Why Prabhupada gave these 4 books only and not other books? Why did he not recommend any other books as part of our Bhakti study? Shastri. There is a very deep reason behind it, and let us see what is the reason. Oh, somehow I have not. I usually keep this so that one need not. According to learned scholars, there are different sources of knowledge which are called as prasthanatraya. This is a very important terminology. Prasthana. Prasthana means, sometimes in the Hindi term also we use this term prasthan. Is tarah prasthan kijiye. So prasthan is the ways of reaching the absolute truth, or the pillars or the foundation of theological science, prasthanatraya. So there are these three sources called as the Prasthana Traya. Each Upanishad is part of the four Vedas, Shruti. So it is called as Shruti Prasthan. Because the four Vedas, Rig, Yajur, Sam, Atharva, these are called as the Shruti and they are called as Shruti Prasthana. And because each Upanishad is an Upanishad which is, Vedanta, it is end of the Vedas. So each Upanishad is part of Shruti Prasthana. Bhagavad Gita it's not a part, sorry. Bhagavad Gita is a part of Mahabharata and is known as Smriti Prasthan. So why is Bhagavad Gita known as a Smriti Prasthan? Anyone? Why is Bhagavad Gita known as a Smriti Prasthan? Let us see. Why is Bhagavad Gita called as Smriti Prasthan? Anyone? Chakra Ram Prabhuji, yes.
Because it is coming from the mouth of Lord Krishna himself.
But then it will be Shruti.
Shrutis.
But this is Smriti. What are the Smriti Shastras? Yes, Jitendra Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I think this is being compiled by Srila Ved Vyasji, and he is compiler of the Puranas and Mahabharata. So
Yes, very, very good. Very good. This is part of the Mahabharata. So the Smritis are the Puranas, the Itihasas, and the, uh, Itihasas and the Puranas. So Itihas is the Ramayana, and the Purana is other 18 Puranas also. So Mahabharata is Itihasa. It is a history. And so that is why Bhagavad Gita is part of the Smriti Prasthan. But interestingly, although technically Bhagavad Gita is a Smriti Prasthan, but it is a Shruti within the Smriti. It is a Shruti within the Smriti. Why? Because it was directly spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yes, Swayam Padmanabhasya Mukam. It was directly spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead on the battle of Kurukshetra. So technically it is the category of Smriti Prasthan, but it is a Shruti within the Smriti. The Vedanta Sutra is known as Nyaya Prasthan. We study the natural commentary, Srimad Bhagavatam. So there are these three Prasthana. Sometimes they are called as Prasthana Traya. Traya means three. Shruti Prasthan, Smriti Prasthan, Nyaya Prasthan. So within the Shruti Prasthan, we study the Ishopanishads. Within the Smriti Prasthan, we study the Bhagavad Gita. And the Nyaya Prasthan, we study not the Vedanta Sutra, but the natural commentary on the Vedanta Sutra, which is Srimad Bhagavatam. Why? Because Mahaprabhu has, emphasized this. Aradhya Bhagavan Vrajatanes Tadhama Vrindavanam. Ramya Kachit Upasana Vrajavadu Vargenaya Kalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanamamalam Prema Pumarto Mahan. So Mahaprabhu endorsed it, and that's why none of the acharyas felt the need to study the Vedanta Sutra, but to study the Srimad Bhagavatam. It was only when the Gaudiya Sampradaya was challenged by the Ramanandis, which in Jaipur, that famous conversation happened in the Radha Govinda temple, that Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan wrote his Govinda Bhashya commentary. The Vedanta Sutta commentary is called as the Govinda Bhashya, and defeated and established the Gaudiya Vaishnava school as an authentic school of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Baldev Vidyabhushan wrote the commentary on Isha Upanishads. He wrote commentary on Gita, and he wrote a commentary on Vedanta Sutra. So any theological school uh, has to comment on these, Prasthanatraya. Then only that school is authentic. Shruti Prasthan, Smriti Prasthan, Nyaya Prasthan. Even Shankaracharya, although he's an impersonalist and we don't subscribe to his philosophy, but he also commented on the Upanishads, all the 11 Upanishads. He commented on his Gita, he commented on the Vedanta Sutra, Sharika Bhash. All the four personalist sampradayas, that is the Madhva, Shri, uh, the Rudra, and the Kumar Sampradaya, all the four acharyas, that is Nimbarka Acharya, Vishnu Swami, Madhvacharya, and Ramacharya, all of them commented on these three Prasthan, Shruti Prasthan, Smriti Prasthan, Nyaya Prasthan. So, Prabhupada, as part of the Bhakti Shastri Course, has included two books. Prabhupada himself also commented on Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, and Bhagavatam. So, Prabhupada, among the Shruti and Smriti, he picked up for Bhakti Shastri the Ish Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita. For the Bhakti Vaibhav, that is a Bhagavatam course, he has a Bhagavatam study, the Srimad Bhagavatam. But for the Bhakti Shastri, he picked up from the Shruti and the Smriti Prasthan. Shri Ish Upanishads, which is the Upanishads, deals with self-realization, Atma Gyan. Shri Ish Upanishads mantra 15 points out that Atma, individual conscious being, is a part of Supreme, the Supreme Absolute Truth, Supreme Conscious Being. And therefore the devotee prays to please show his face. This is a famous verse. It will come up. So there is the Prasthana Traya, Shruti Prasthan, Smriti Prasthan, Nyaya Prasthan. What is that verse? Hiranyamaya patrena satyasyapi hitam mukam tattvam poshan apavrano satya dharmaya drishyate. Oh my Lord, satyasya, sustainer of that lives, poshan, your real face, mukam, is covered, apahitam, by your dazzling effulgence. Hiranyamaya patrena, kindly remove, apavrano, that covering, that, and exhibit yourself to your pure duty. Satya dharmaya drishyate. So ultimately, the Ish Upanishads points out that the absolute truth is a person, and the impersonal Brahman is the effulgence of that absolute truth. So the Ish Upanishads points out that the absolute truth is a person. Who is he? That is not very clear in the Ish Upanishads. But who is he? That is clear in the Bhagavad Gita. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. Matta paratram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya mai sarvamidam sutram sutre manigana iva. Again, I have to somehow, I don't know why. It not. So Shri Ish Upanishads points out that ultimately the absolute truth is a person by that verse, Hiranyamaya Patrena. This is established in Shri Ish Upanishads. But who is that person? Bhagavad Gita further points out that the absolute person, the supreme personality of God, is Shri Krishna. I recited these two verses. Then Arjuna himself confirms Param Brahma, Param Dhamam. Having established that Lord Shri Krishna is God in Bhagavad Gita by Lord Shri Krishna himself, how to attain him is also established. Having established, Sambandha, that the absolute truth is a person, the Abhidheya is also given in the Bhagavad Gita. Manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskaru satatam kirtayanto mam namashyante dradavrata. All these verses speak about the Abhidheya. Only by the process of bhakti, one can know me and understand me in truth. Bhaktya to ananya shakya. Bhaktya mam abhijanati. In the 18th chapter also, in the 11th chapter, I quoted this verse. So it's only by bhakti. Yoginam api sarvesham madgate nantaratmana shraddhavan bhajate mam samaya yukta tamo mata. So only by the process of bhakti, one can know the Lord and understand. So again, I have quoted these verses. 4.3 also establishes that. Now, how to perform bhakti is also clearly delineated by Lord Sri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. I mentioned Manmana and then Satatam Kirtan and 7.18.65, 11.55. So the goal is to attain the Lord. In Vedic terminology, it is called sadhya. Chaitanya Charitamrita Prabhu says, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu kahe pade shloka sadhyara nirnay. And the process to attain the goal is bhakti, sadhana. So there is sadhya and there is sadhana. So the sadhana has been mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. These are the verses of sadhana. Bhagavan Sambandha, Bhakti Abhideya. Abhideya is the sadhana, the process. And the sadhya is goal. So there are these two terms, sadhana and sadhya. And related to these two terms are Sambandha, Abhideya and Prayojan. So I hope you're following now. Sadhya and sadhana connection with the four books. Through the Ishopanishads and Bhagavad Gita, the sadhya is established. That ultimately the goal is what? That we have to attain the absolute truth. And he's a person. Through the two books, Nectar of Instruction, Updeshamrit, the Nectar of Devotion, Bhakti Rasamrit, the sadhana is explained to attain sadhya. So the Updeshamrit and Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu are Abhideya Shastras. When you perform sadhana, you attain sadhya. What is that sadhya? The absolute truth. He is a person. Now, with connection with sadhana and sadhya, there are three important concepts we need to learn from the Vedas. I mentioned Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojan. Bhagavan Sambandha, Bhakti Abhideya hoy, Prema Prayojana Veda, Tina Vastu kahe. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the central point of all relationships. Acting in devotional service to Him is one's real occupation, and the attainment of love of Godhead is the ultimate goal of life. These three subject matters are described in Vedic literatures. I call it SAP, Sambandha Abhideya Prayojan. Relationship, relation, process, and goal. Now, this SAP is a very universal relationship, a universal principle. Just take the example of a BMW car. A person has love for cars and he sees a new BMW car. Suddenly, when he sees the BMW car, he falls in love with the BMW car and he says, my goal is to attain that BMW car. So in one sense, his sadhya or his prayojan is to attain BMW car. Now, then he starts thinking how to attain. I'm a businessman. I've been doing business and making good profits, but BMW costs maybe 1 crore 20 lakhs. And every year my profits is 50 to 60 lakhs. So maybe I have to increase my manufacturing and make more profits. So the next 2-3 years, he expands his business so that he can make more profits. So all that is a part of the process. All that is part of Abhidheya. And ultimately, in the third year, he makes good profits of 1 crore. He takes 20 lakhs loan from the bank, ultimately goes to a BMW showroom, and then gives the check and gets the key. The moment he gets the key and sits in the car, he has attained the goal. That is Prayojan. So Sambandha, Avideya, and Prayojan. And moment he is driving the BMW car, he sees a Audi car coming from the opposite direction and he feels envy. So anything in this world, we try to establish Sambandha, it will always result in being miserable. A man falls in love with a woman and he wants to attain her. He has love for her. So that is his goal, to attain her. And then he finds out, who are her friends, how to establish connection with her, all that, that is the process of Abhidheya. And ultimately, when he proposes to her and she also agrees, then they both fall in love, so-called love. Then they have attained the Prayojan, but that love is not really love, it is lust. and it turns into different emotions in the form of anger, envy, jealousy. So this Sambandha Abhideya Prayojan is a universal principle and it applies, everywhere. But only when we make the absolute truth, Vedam Vastavam Vastu, Shivadam. This is Shivadam. Tapatrayon Moolanam. 112 of the Bhagavatam, Dharma Projita Kaitava. This will uproot all the threefold miseries because that is the absolute reality, it is the absolute truth, it is the Vastavam Vastu. Whereas all other objects of this world, when we try to establish someone and have love for it, they are illusion and they increase the threefold miseries. So Bhagavan Sambandha and Bhakti is Abhideya and Prem is Prayojan. Now, in connection with these four books, Bhagavan Sambandha, Sheesh Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita. Sheesh Upanishads is part of Shruti Prasthan, Bhagavad Gita is part of Smriti Prasthan. Bhakti Abhidaya is Updeshamrit and Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu for your kind information. And Prem Prayojan technically is Manashiksha and he is our Prayojan Acharya. Who is our Sambandha Acharya? Anyone knows? Who is our Sambandha Acharya? Who is our Sambandha Acharya among the six Goswamis? Who is our Sambandha Acharya? No, okay. Subha Ikshana Krishna Prabhuji.
Prabhu Sanatan Goswami.
And who is our Abhidaya Acharya?
I think Rupa Goswami.
You think it's not, you think it is Rupa Goswami. Who is our Prayojana Acharya?
Raghunath Das Goswami, as you said sometime ago.
As I said, yes, yes. So Manashiksha technically is a text which we should study, but I have purposefully put Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu because it speaks about, Bhava Bhakti and Prema Bhakti as part of the Eastern wave. Two chapters, two waves we study. So in one sense, uh, Updeshamrit also begins with the, it's the Abhideya Shastra, but in the end verses, last three verses speak about, Prayojan. So all text, have this components of Sambandha, Abhideya and Prayojan. Bhagavad Gita, mainly deals with Sambandha, but there is Abhideya, how to practice Bhakti, and there is Prayojan, but it is basically a, Sambandha book. And then, but Updeshamrit is the Abhideya Shastra given by Rupa Goswami. Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu is an Abhideya Shastra given by Rupa Goswami. Manashiksha is a Prayojan Shastra, how to attain Prayojan. But of course, again, in Manashiksha, the first three verses speak about Sambandha, 4 to 7 speak about Abhideya, and the last 9 to 11 speak about Prayojan. But it is an Abhideya Shastra. All the Vedas always have these three components, Sambandha, Abhideya, Prayojan. All the Vedas describe this. But the emphasis might be more in certain Shastras, then it becomes a Abhideya Shastra or a Prayojan Shastra. Okay, so that completes our discussion on the importance of studying Nectar of Instruction, which is part of the Bhakti Shastri, which is the Abhijaya Shastra. And in this context, we saw the terminologies, what is Sadhya and Sadhana, what is Sambandha, Abhideya and Prayojan. We saw the progression in the four books, and we saw the terminology Shruti Prasthana, Smriti Prasthana, and Nyaya Prasthana. So any questions about the second part of the discussion? Tomorrow we will begin with the preface. Any questions, any clarifications? Anyone has? There are two questions. Okay. Jitendra Prabhuji, yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Manas Shiksha by Raghunath Das Goswami is Prayojan or Abhiday?
As I mentioned, it is the Abhiday Shastra.
Abhiday, na?
It is the Abhiday Shastra, and one should start studying Manishiksha only after many years practicing bhakti, and one has thoroughly studied Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and the Bhakti Shastri literatures. One should have at least studied at least 10 to 15 times the Bhagavad Gita, at least 2, 3 readings of Bhagavatam, and at least 1 or 2 readings of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Then one can study again with the permission, blessings of the Shiksha Gurus, counselors, or the Diksha Guru. Okay, Priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam. So, is there any sequence for these books, like for a beginner, just like Ishopanishad, Bhagavad Gita? What is the sequence? Is there any 1, 2, 3, 4?
Well, the sequence of systematic studies, yes, one should first study thematically the Bhagavad Gita. There are some thematic study guides book which are there, and one should regularly study the Bhagavad Gita and Ishopanishads. And then, because we are practicing bhakti, how to practice bhakti, Updeshamrit and Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu become important. And one should regularly study these 4 books. And as a part, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, Bhagavatam, and Chaitanya Charitamrita also one should study. So this is some idea. Again, there can be a broad analysis done of the systematic study, which we are working on it. So just to understand and go step by step in our practice of bhakti and in understanding of the philosophy. There is systematic study required, definitely. But in general, this is what is to be done. The small books of Prabhupada, which are like foundational books for the Bhagavad Gita, and the thematic books compilations. And Bhagavad Gita means we are studying also Ishopanishads. Then Updeshamrit and Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu become important, very important, because we are practicing bhakti. And Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita is to be relished on a regular basis. That's what we need to do. Is it okay?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Thank
Any
you.
other questions anyone has? Okay, so we'll stop now. श्री उपदेशामृत की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, श्री रूप गोस्वामी पाद की जय. हरे कृष्णा.